Welcome to the Sedro Woolley Rotary Club, the best Rotary Club in the... Stephen, you have the invocation for today.
There we go. And bow our heads. Lord, thank you for this beautiful weather and sunshine. Thank you for a successful auction last week. And thanks again for bless this food. In your name, amen.
Pledge allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic and one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And the four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? And Stephen, you have a song too?
A song.
Okay.
This bright and good weather we're having. We're going to do You Are My Sunshine. You are my sunshine.
You make me happy. Much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. Very good, Stephen. Thank you. You can be seated. Do we have any visiting Rotarians today? Any visiting Rotarians? How about guests? Do we have any guests of Rotarians today? We don't have any guests today. Okay, Mrs. Carlton, you are on, and the mic is on waiting for you. So we have Students of the Month today. Welcome, Carrie.
Thank you, gentlemen. Okay. First off, I just want to share with you that when students are selected for Students of the Month, they are faced against, right, where you have 275 seniors. And so every month that I have the opportunity to share who these students are, they truly represent the best of our seniors in our graduating class. And each and every one of these individuals standing with me off to the left have incredible talents, gifts, and it's starting to hit me as we approach graduation just how very special they are on our campus as role models and leaders, and the impact that they have on their peers and our younger students is truly incredible. And so I'm recognizing 5 students with me today. And this 5, along with all the other students we recognized, they are truly the difference makers for our high school. And so I just want to thank you for this chance to allow me the opportunity to share how just blessed we are as a community. So our first Student of the Month, Taylor, had a golf tournament last month when we did our March Students of the Month. So we get to recognize Taylor today. Taylor Dieso is the daughter of Dan and Lori of Mount Vernon. Taylor maintains a 3.5 GPA while being actively involved at our high school. She's been on our varsity girls golf team for 3 years, lettering all 3 of those. Taylor has placed twice in the 1-year all-conference first team golf and 3-year all-conference second team for golf. She's also a member of our National Honor Society, and she's been on the honor roll all with us 4 years. Outside of school, Taylor enjoys hanging out with friends and family, exploring the wonderful Pacific Northwest, and going to the gym. Taylor has previously worked at Bob's Burgers and Brew as a hostess and a volunteer for the Skagit Valley Humane Society. She was a detailer for Blade Collision Collision Center, and she's currently interning at Janicki Industries, doing a variety of tasks that will help her with her next step of education. At this time, I'm pleased to have Taylor come with you to the microphone, and she is starting districts. Am I right? Districts? County is today for the girls golf team. So after today, she gets this afternoon, then she gets to send off and represent our Cubs Sedro Woolley Golf girls golf team. So come on up.
Okay, I'm Taylor. My parents are over there, Lori and Dan. After high school, I'll be going to Skagit for 2 years to hopefully get my associates in math. And then I hope to move on to WSU for my bachelor's in mechanical engineering.
Now I have the pleasure of introducing our April Students of the Month. Arden, I'm going to pronounce your name wrong. Will you pronounce it for me? Trachta Magruder. Thank you, Arden. I hadn't practiced, well, I was practicing, but I didn't do very well. Arden is the daughter of Mac and Kendra of Burlington. Arden maintains a 3.99 GPA while being actively involved at our high school. She's a member of the Earth Club while holding positions as secretary and treasurer. She is our president of Future Business Leaders of America, and she competed at the state level for data analysis and computer programming. Arden is also a member of our National Honor Society, and she has many department and faculty awards, as well as completing college-level chemistry and physics classes. Outside of school, Arden enjoys spending time with her family and friends, traveling and hiking. Arden currently works for a family friend, helping remodel her home, caring for her elderly mother, and redoing the landscaping around their home. Arden earned a University of Achievement Award from Washington State University for being in the top 10 of their incoming class. So Arden's going to come up to the microphone, share who's with her here today and where she plans to go after graduation.
Thank you. My dad joined me today. Thanks, Dad. After I graduate, I will be attending Washington State University, where I plan to earn my bachelor's in mechanical engineering.
Okay, we have 2 graduates going to Wazoo. I know we still have some University of Washington fans in here as well. Okay, Hooper Daly. Hooper Daly is the son of Louis and Jen Daly of Sedro Woolley. Cooper maintains a 3.89 GPA while being actively involved in our high school. He has been on the varsity baseball team all 4 years and will obtain a varsity letter this season. Cooper was a Camp or Kyla counselor in 2022 and participated in the Exploration Day this year at Clear Lake Elementary, where he worked on the fundamentals of baseball with our students. Cooper is attending Skagit Valley College as a running start student. Outside of school, Cooper loves spending time with family and friends, weight training, fishing, shooting, and working on vehicles. Cooper currently holds a position at Janicki Industries, and for the past 3 years, he has worked in their maintenance department and then transferred to their welding shop, where he is now certified as a welding structural steer in INVAR. Cooper has, I apologize if I said that wrong, Cooper. You'll have to let me know. Cooper has a love for his vehicles. He has taught himself how to work on engines, transmissions, and bodywork. Most recently, he has owned a 1990 Ford Bronco, as well as a 1977 El Camino. So I'd like to have Cooper come to the microphone, share who's here with him today, and also where he plans to go after graduation.
Hello, I'm here with my dad today, Lou. After graduation, I plan to enlist in the Army Reserves and go to college in Michigan for welding engineering. Yeah, Ferris State University. Ferris State.
Congratulations. Okay, I now have the honor of honoring our May Rotary Students of the Month. Ava Wesson is the daughter of Chad and Ariel Wesson of Sedro Woolley. Ava maintains a 3.79 GPA while being very active at our high school. She is currently our ASB president, and she has been on the ASB Executive Council for the past 3 years. Ava is a member of our varsity soccer team for 3 years, captain as one of those years, and on our track and field team for the past 3 years. She's also involved in National Honor Society. Ava has attended the Northwestern Career Technical Academy her junior year for medical science and earned the highly sought after award. Outside of school, Ava enjoys spending time with her family and friends, taking care of her new puppy, Ollie, playing soccer, and running in the Ragnar. Ava also house sits and babysits from time to time. When Ava was 14, she experienced something that any 14-year-old should never have to face when she opened her eyes to the kind of young lady she wanted to be. She had a seizure that led to a brain tumor and had intensive surgery. This experience, so young in life, taught her so much and shaped her into the young lady she is today. Ava, as our ASB president, stands in front of our entire student body, and she represents everything that we stand for as our ASB president. So I'm pleased to have her come to the microphone, share who's with her here today, and also her plans after graduation.
I'm Ava. I'm here with my mom and dad today, Ariel and Chad. After high school, I plan to attend Bellevue College and do their neurodiagnostic program.
I am honored to also introduce May Rotary Student of the Month, Jacob Dietering. Jacob Dietering is the son of Derek and Rosie Dietering of Mount Vernon. Jacob maintains a 3.89 GPA, will be actively involved at our high school. He's a member of the varsity football team for 2 seasons, freshman and sophomore year, and obtained a letter for his sophomore season. Jacob was in our leadership class where he was in charge of our Winter Wishes Assembly and helping others maintain their roles in the huge Christmas Spirit Special. One of the things that you are not aware of is that I have many stories of each of these students and examples of how they represent their leadership on our campus. And Jacob is one of the young men that you will see always graciously with a smile on his face, helping others. He would go to bat for anyone. He would take his jacket off to help any soul that needs it. And Jacob, I told this story to his mom just now. So they brought out the youth football team and Jacob was like front and center of our student section. And do you remember that night when they did the youth football teams out on the field? And it was pretty quiet. And Jacob is like, everybody, let's cheer for the young kids of our town. And the whole crowd went wild. And it was just one of those things where you go, yep, that's Jacob leading the way. Outside of school, Jacob enjoys spending time with family and friends, duck hunting, fishing, exploring the Pacific Northwest. Jacob is currently working for his father's auto body shop, after hours, customs and collisions as a current technician. All right, Jacob, come on up.
I'm here with my mom today, who I couldn't have done it without her. After I graduate this year, I plan to apply for an apprenticeship at Seattle City Light as a lineman.
Thank you so much. Yes, my heart is beaming. It's nonstop. Thank you. Thank you.
Well done, Mrs. Carlton. Congratulations, students of the month. Congratulations, parents. You should be very proud. We are very proud. One more hand of applause for these students of the month. We do have one announcement today, at least that I know of. If you look around, we don't see former Chief Tucker anywhere. Does anybody know where he's at?
Miriam stole him is what I was told.
He is being recognized by the Washington Association of School Administrators, which is a state organization, and for all that he has done for the Sedro Woolley School District. And so, which is a very high honor. I was once president of that association, so I'm glad to hear that he is being recognized. If there's somebody that deserves it, he is one. So a round of applause for Chief Tucker, former Chief Tucker. Are there any other announcements? Okay. We had a board meeting Tuesday night. We are looking at the bylaws. I want to thank Mr. Rule, because the last time our bylaws were amended and reviewed was 2009. I think you were the president at that time. You did something with them. You did this, your name's at the bottom of them. So, and I have to say, when we reviewed them, they look really good. So we're going to take them and look at them again to see if we need to make any changes or amendments to them. If you have any thoughts or ideas that comes to mind that you want us to look at or address, send me an email or send one of the board members an email. We'd be happy to look at it. But over the next few weeks, we're going to take a look at the bylaws and update those in a little bit. Questions? I did send out my email. Last night I sent it out and it queued in that Club Runner until about 1 a.m. So you didn't get them till 1 a.m. today. But in the email was FYI about a Skagit Valley Rotarian, Dennis. And he has a grandson that is going to be doing an internship in the next near future here for about 3 months and is looking for a place to live for about 3 months. So if you're interested in that, I think it's a Janike internship. If you're interested in finding out more information about that, let me know. I'm going to send out the email, just forward it to everybody to see if there's anybody out there. Carl. My understanding, it could be flexible. I have not talked with them. All I have is the email, but it's, in my mind, that would not be out of the question. Yeah. Yeah. So I'll send that out. Is there any other club business? Okay, the last thing I have is I just want to thank everybody for the auction Friday night. We made a lot of money, and there's scholarships, the dictionaries, and everything that goes into that. A lot of time and effort. We have some unsung heroes. I think the major unsung hero here is Danny, right there. Behind the scene, everything looks great from sitting at the tables when you're bidding and eating and drinking and doing all that stuff. Danny avoided disaster, I don't know how many times. And I am very thankful that she was there and she did that and helped us out. Danny, you are a wonderful person. Thank you very much for everything that you've done. Thank you. Some other unsung heroes. I want to thank Mike and Shelley over there. There's a little bit of a controversy. They are so gracious at helping us resolve that controversy. So I want to thank Mike and Shelley for that. Rich, of course, I was with Rich 3 days delivering stuff over, and that's probably a third of the time that Rich actually goes out, secures items, buys items, brings them in, helps coordinate the live auction and stuff. He's another unsung hero. So Rich, thank you for everything that you've done. And of course, Tim leading the auction chair. Couldn't have done it without you. Thank you, Tim, for all of that. And there's others. There's others. Those that came to the Thursday auction meetings and contributed, and emails and sponsors and everything else. All in all, I think it was a very, very successful auction, and it puts us in a position to provide more services and projects pay for scholarships and all the things that we do as the greatest Rotary Club in the universe. So thank you, everybody. I think we all deserve a round of applause. With that said, I think we have a raffle today.
Have a raffle. Let's do 4. So the first number is 7. For that. Good thing I made you pick it up. Yeah, that's right. Second number is 4. There
Taylor.
we go. You can spin, but you can't take the alcohol. Let spin unless your mom wants. Oh, right. Winner's table pays $2.
No.
Except for our guests. Yep. Spin again. Go ahead. Well, winner's table pays $2 again. We'll stop there. Next one we have is G50.
Mom, on your way out, just grab one of those things.
There you go. Next one we have is 52. There we go, winner's table. Go for it, yes. There you go. Last number we have is 47. There we go. Your nails, he's smart. All right. That's the 4 we had.
Sergeant of Arms.
All right, Sergeant Arms. First, John, if you want to come up, we got a couple of cleanup items from the auction. Well, we start with the
Let's start with these things.
shower heads.
Okay, who needs a shower head? Shower head, $10 shower head. Brock Styles, you got a shower head for $10. All right, way to go.
Yay!
Okay, and we got another.
Nice.
What do we got? Oh, $275 gift certificate for pets for the North Cascade Veterinary. Who's got a pet? Raise your hand if you got a pet. Okay. $10, $20. What? $50, $50, $100, $100 to our senator. Here we go. We got any more? 110, 120, 130, $100 sold to Keith. Okay, we got it. All right, next one.
Thanks, Keith.
Shower head. Who needs another shower head? Who needs a shower?
Brock does.
Brock, you got another shower head. Way to go. Okay, nice. And that's $10 for the shower head. Okay, now we got to, could you pick that up and walk around with it a little bit? Yeah, no, walk around. Okay, we have an indoor air cleaner, electronic, super efficient. This thing is probably worth $1,000. $1,500. That's what this thing's worth, $1,500. Okay. And I got $20 right here. We got $20 right here. We got $100. Mike's got into it for $100. And we got 120, 130, 150, 200. Anybody else? Sold for $100. We got a cleaner thing, whatever. So sometimes when Mike walks into the house, it's just not that good. Put it in your pickup. That's good. Okay, here we go. Thank you very much.
All right, and finally, Sheena, we have a couple items still to go out that need to be delivered. Whoever won the Super Bowl live auction item, if anybody knows who that is, they left some parts and pieces, a cooler and a couple chairs. And Kevin and Juliana Hansen. They were the recipients of 2 items up here. You'll take, okay, there's two things up here. And then we got Van Loos, so we're good there.
Stephen, big round of applause for auctioneer and delivery truck driver, John Janicki.
Yes, thank you, John. When I asked John to raffle these off, he hesitated, but like any good Rotarian, he said yes. So a couple items for Sergeant of Arms, kind of finishing up the auction. If you guys did we have anybody who was sponsors of a table, head of a table? Anybody want to raise their hand, admit to that, being out at the table? So part of your job was for the dessert dash and for the auction centerpieces. I talked to Danny today. There were 35 tables. Only 5 centerpieces were paid for. So if you were in charge of a table or you took centerpieces home, that's going to cost you $1. And then you also need to please pay that money to Danny for your centerpiece. All right. Then one more for the auction that I had. Again, raise of hands. Who took stuff to the museum? There's a couple people. Everybody took stuff to the museum. If you did not make arrangements to bring that stuff back, or you didn't take it back yourself, that's going to be $1. And then some other items I had here, kind of going along with our speakers for the month. We'll introduce them soon, but I have Danny Hagen's from the Assessor's office. If you received your tax statements this year and you appealed your taxes, that's going to cost you $1. Fortunately, Rebecca did get to show
That'll
up
be the
here.
honor system.
That'll be on the honor system. I was going to say if you grumbled about your taxes, but that's a different story.
We know who you are. You're on next door.
Next week, I believe I have Andrew Miller talking about tulips or possibly PUD. I haven't discussed with him. If you didn't get to visit the tulips or support our local businesses for the tulip season, that's going to cost you $1. And finally, the last Thursday of the month, I've got Kevin Owen from Sedro Woolley talking about athletics. If you haven't supported the high school in their athletics or any other programs recently, that's going to cost you $1.
Go to the order. Happy bucks.
Any happy bucks.
I got some happy bucks. I'm pretty proud of these students over here. How many engineers are there? And who are the engineers? You got a mechanical, the best one in the world. Who else? Metallurgical. Yep, that's an engineer. That's sort of mechanical. Mechanical. There you go. All right. Well, I got one for each student because that's pretty awesome. You guys are, and I'm speaking about engineering because I am one. The rest of you guys are great too. So congratulations.
John today.
I just get so excited seeing Carrie up there, how she gets so emotional and so excited for these kids. She's very vested in these kids. You guys have a great principal. We had David Bricka's father as a principal, and not quite the same. I'm just saying, well, that's true. Anyway, we were in the office a lot, Mike and I. Anyway, the students, you got great point averages. You're super smart. You guys are like 3 times better than you need to get to join Rotary in about a few years. So we would love for you to join Rotary, right?
Yes,
when they get
that's
back
exactly
in here,
right.
get some bring some stuff back to Sedro Woolley, and it'd be a
Yes.
lot of fun. But congratulations to your parents.
This is a happy 50. It's not my 50. It's actually from Jay Fullman. He left a tip on the table at the Rotary auction. So I'm submitting that for him. Everybody always asks me, how much money did we make? How did we do? I don't have numbers for you yet. I'm still answering emails, getting items to people, but what I will give you is a little bit. For scholarships, we raised $39,250. And then for our dictionaries this year, we sold more dictionaries than last year. We raised $7,400, which is 296 dictionaries. So.
Wow.
Let's continue around the lucky table.
Here's $5. So first of all, you know, Danielle was one of those, and Stephanie, and I mean, we have this next generation. I didn't realize I was old till a couple days ago. But I was so proud of where this younger generation has taken this Rotary Club that we can almost retire at our age. We're almost to the point where, you know, we can just drink. Oh, whatever. I'm just proud of these, they did such a great job. Ruth made like $12,000 with sugar. I mean, it's unbelievable what we can do around here. So anyhow, that's my $5. Thank you.
Okay, I have a happy 40 for our students of the month, Taylor, Arden, Cooper, Ava, and Jacob. Thank you so much. And thank you, parents, for sharing them with us. We appreciate you.
Great kids.
Couple more here.
So Taylor probably doesn't remember this, but you guys all know we own the Learning Ladder. And I'd like to take full credit for the student that Taylor's been, because she was there for years. She was one of my favorite kids.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy the auction's over. I got a happy 20 here. So last Saturday, we went to Oklahoma to watch Keenan graduate from Northwestern Oklahoma State University with a bachelor's degree in science and criminal justice. So.
Okay.
I was in a meeting with John the other day and he was whining and complaining that he didn't win the Bob Gates dinner. So I texted Bob Gates and he threw in another dinner for $8,000. So just so John wouldn't have to whine about it. So thanks for buying that.
Steve and I have a happy 20, 10 for the kids and 10 for my grandkids. I was able to attend my granddaughter's music recital, the first one ever. She's in kindergarten, which was really cool. And the other one right after that was my grandson. He's in second grade, first coach pitch baseball game. He got 4 hits. He made a run. He played in the dirt. He watched the ball go by, but all in all, it was a great day. Okay, that's all I have. Okay, with that said, let's bring up Danny Hagen, Skagit County Assessor. I'm going to let Stephen introduce him. Welcome, Danny.
All right. Like Phil said, we have Danny Hagens from the Skagit County Assessor. He's also a fellow Burlington Rotarian. Danny has worked as an appraiser analyst in the Skagit County Assessor's office since 2015. This says he comes by it, as they say, he comes by it naturally. His father was longtime chief deputy assessor for the county. Among his many professional accomplishments, he's a professional member of the International Association of Assessing Officers. He's been published in the IAAO's magazine, Fair and Equitable, and was a featured speaker at the CIS CAMA conference in Portland. Welcome, Danny Hagen.
Thank you for having me. You would be shocked how many people don't want to hear about property taxes. So I appreciate any audience that's willing to listen and not throw things. 3 things that I want to talk about today. 1, why property tax is a good tax relative to other taxes. 2, how they're administered in the state of Washington. And then finally, how does that look here in Sedro Woolley? Most of my presentation is based off of the publication A Good Tax by Joan Youngman. You might have heard in the spring of 2020, there was this pandemic that came about and we were forced to leave the office instantly. My boss at the time had the foresight to make sure we had a lot of training materials to go home and review. And this is one of the things that I was able to review. It's just over 300 pages. I was so impressed and it had such a meaningful impact on me. I actually wrote a 27-page report, just briefing myself on everything that I felt afterwards. Not only do I think this should be highly established reading amongst all people in the assessment field, any legislators that are making any policy decisions about taxes should read this publication. I'm sharing all the ideas that I garnered from that. These are not new ideas. These are ideas that I have pulled out of there and just want to make sure that people are aware of. So why is property tax a good tax? 3 main reasons. And the first one is transparency. Raise your hand if you know how much sales tax you paid last year. Raise your hand if you know how much income tax your neighbor paid last year. Just kidding. Don't raise your hand if you know that. It's probably illegal. Everybody knows how much you paid in property tax. We send a statement every year to remind you. You also can go online and see what your neighbors pay. That makes my job hard because you can say whether it's fair or not, but that is a good thing for a tax. I don't know whether what I pay in sales tax is fair compared to my neighbor because I don't know what they pay. I don't even know what I pay. So if you go to skagitcounty.net and visit our property one stop, you will go and you will see how much every person pays in property taxes, the assessed value that is creating that tax bill, and where those tax dollars are going. Second, that transparency brings in local accountability. This is a tax statement. I want to make sure it's, yeah. I update these slides. This is the 7th time I've given this presentation. I try and adapt it to the local tax code area. My friend Tina Tate, this is her tax statement. So don't tell her I said that because just kidding. It's all public information. But if you look here, the accountability, you have your Medic One services, you have a hospital district that have elected commissioners, you have a Skagit County that has elected commissioners, you have a school district with local school board directors, you have a port district with locally elected officials, you have a city of Sedro Woolley with locally elected officials. Those make up a good chunk of your property tax bill. And last time we had a state-run election, my vote was 1 in 4 million for the Washington state governor. It's not pretty worthless, really. I checked the last mayoral race in the city of Sedro Woolley. There was 2,500 votes. So your vote means a lot more when it comes to these local races, whether it's a port, a city, even the state representative, I think is about 80,000. Senator Wagner would be able to correct me. But it's the local votes matter and you can have that local accountability over your property taxes. Third is efficiency. It costs money to move money around. If we are sending money to Olympia, it costs money. If we're sending money to Washington, D.C., it costs money. And then it comes back with strings attached. Here's how you can spend it. When you vote for something on a local levy, you are empowering your locally elected officials to decide how that money should be spent without all those extra requirements. My dad was chief deputy assessor for quite a while for Skagit County. He served under Assessor Mark Leander. His son Jake Leander is one of our senior appraisers in the assessor's office. So I've known Jake since we were running around at office barbecues. I think I was probably about 10 years old. We also have two other trainees. Jake is in charge of training some people, and because he was invited here, we also brought his two trainees, Andy and Andy. We also have a commercial appraiser named Andrew. My dad finished out his career in Cowlitz County. The Cowlitz County assessor, Emily Wilcox, has allowed me to share this video. Unfortunately, I'm not going to trust that the internet's going to work very well, and we're not going to actually force you to watch it. Generally, what it says is assessors are really great people. Don't be mad at us. And no, the main thing to think about it with what an assessor does is, let's say you're at a restaurant. There's you and two other people at the table. You order a hot dog, your friend orders some caviar, and the other person orders a steak. The bill comes and it needs to be split three ways. Well, the person that ordered the caviar probably feels great about that, but the person that ordered the hot dog doesn't feel that's fair. The assessor is supposed to be the person that makes sure that that split is fair. We have a budget-based system, and so no matter what, every local taxing district is going to get their money. It is the responsibility of my office to make sure that is done as fairly and equitably as possible. In any property tax system, there are three parts. You have your assessed values, your levy rates, and then your taxing district's budget. When I refer to a budget-based system, that means the part of this formula that is fixed is the taxing district's budget. Every taxing district in the state of Washington is capped at a 1% increase every year, plus any new construction that's added. A really good example of the new construction component is when new housing development comes in here to Sedro Woolley. I think BYK has been doing a lot of building, and I really appreciate that because we need more and more. But when they add a big apartment complex, that school district now has more kids they're going to have to provide services for. So that additional tax dollar in new construction gets added to the budget. It's not a part of that 1% limit. A lot of times people have questions about what other states' systems are like. We have Oregon that has a rate-based system, so their rate is fixed. And so then if your assessed value goes up 25%, your tax bill is going up 25%. And that's actually not the worst case scenario. The worst case scenario is if values go down and every police department, hospital district, and school district has to lay off 10% of their staff because they just lost that money. And then the ever popular Prop 13 down in California, it is fixing the assessed value to limit that and allowing the levy rate to adjust. I'm going to focus on Washington. The budget constraint, like I talked about, it's a 1% limit each year, plus new construction added. So last year, if the Sedro Woolley, city of Sedro Woolley had $1 million budget, next year their budget is going to be allowed to be $1,010,000. Yeah, $1,010,000. So is that 1% increase? Then that is split amongst all of the residents that pay into that. Caveat to that, state school tax. Raise your hand if you remember the McCleary decision. Yes. So that was the states telling the state legislature that they are not funding education properly. And to fix that, they increased the states, or they added a second part to the state school levy. That was a rate-based tax for the 3 years that occurred. So at $2.70 per thousand, equalized, depending on whatever your county ratio was fixed rate, and that occurred from 2018 to 2021. Also at a time when property values had increased greater than any time in our previous history, besides now, this year, or last year. So that, I know every time I talk about a budget restriction and this 1% cap, everyone looks at me and like, you're lying. My taxes are going up more than 1%, and you're right. In 2017, Skagit County paid $30 million to state school taxes. Last year, we paid $65 million in state school taxes. It's the local school districts, the hospital districts, your cities, your counties are not getting much more money than they were 8 years ago. It's the state school that is really increasing that property tax bill, especially over the last 5 years. So tax code area 0935 is the city of Sedro Woolley. So everyone that lives inside the city limits pays to the exact same taxing districts. As you can see, here is what a budget-based system. What should happen is as assessed values go up, the levy rate should go down unless there's a new voted on levy. That's in theory how it should work. In 2018, the assessed values increased almost 10% and the levy rate only went down 1%. That was the beginning of the McCleary decision. So that was the first time they instituted that second part of the state school tax. As soon as that hit people's mailboxes, everyone was furious. So the very next year, they reduced that second part for 1 year. So you can see in 2019, even though assessed values went up 12.4%, the levy rate for the city of Sedro Woolley went down almost 25%. So that was a year that your assessed values increased and your tax bill went down. They only made that change for 1 year. So the very next year, even though assessed values went up 13.7%, the levy rate bounced right back up. And so you went from $8.59 per thousand right back up to $10.52 per thousand. And it was a start of why the tax bill is so much higher in the last 4 years than previously. I'm a graph guy. I like data and I like to visualize it. So these are the same numbers, but just on a graph. What should be happening is as the blue line increases, that orange line should be decreasing at a relative rate. 2019 and 2020 were the, oops, we made a mistake, but we still have to pay for schools. So the very next year, it bounced right back up. And it made the work of our office extremely difficult because people really were concerned. Why are my property tax bill going up so much? And they think that means Skagit County is getting more money or the city of Sedro Woolley is getting more money. And that's just not the case. What can you do to help? Our office just wants to be accurate. If you go to Skagit County, go to our property one stop and look through your property information. If anything's wrong there, call us, let us know. We'll change the bedroom count based off what you say. If you want us to relook at something, we can try and send someone out to make sure we have something correct. But please help us make sure that that information is accurate. Because in this budget-based system, if you're not paying your fair share, it's still getting collected. It's just your neighbor that's paying their share and yours. So when it comes to fairness, it's if you're getting a good deal, it's not the tax districts that are suffering, it's the other taxpayers in that area. Sign up for e-notices. I know that's especially from the treasurer's office. They really appreciate it makes it more efficient when you're processing tax statements. Talk with your neighbors. One of the things when I ran for Skagit County Assessor, I really wanted to help educate everyone on how this system works and not just talk to people right after they get their change of value notice and they're for good reason upset. If I can talk to people when they're not as emotional, when they get that change of value notice, they'll be just as upset, but they'll remember my face and can swear at it in their head or over the phone, whatever they choose. And ask questions. Ask questions of me, of our office. We are public servants. We are not there we're not paid on commission. If property values, we obviously have a much different market right now. Assessed values might go down. If that's the case, it doesn't mean your property taxes are going down, just like we talked about with the budget-based system. In conclusion, our office comes up with an assessed value for approximately 80,000 parcels every year. We do that with a staff of 21 people, 10 appraisers, and then some commercial appraisers, analysis, and administration folk. The taxing districts send us their legally allowed budget, We double check to make sure that is what is legally allowed. We divide that taxing budget divided by the total assessed value of that tax code area. And that is the levy rate for that taxing district. And that levy rate will be right on your tax bill of what's going to that taxing district. Senior and disabled exemption program. State of Washington is one of 7 or 8 states that does not have a state income tax. That pushes tax burdens onto our senior citizens more so than almost any other state. We're aware of that, and almost every assessor is a big proponent of our senior exemption program. Currently, that threshold, income threshold is at $42,000, which is extremely low. We've worked with the legislature and with the passing of 1355, the thresholds are going to be increased. The approximate number I'm hearing is about 51,000 for next year. So if you or anyone you know might be under the 51,000 income threshold, a senior or disabled veteran, please send them to my office so we can make sure that if they qualify for the program, they do go into that program. And then the last thing, appeal process. You are all very aware of having a Board of Equalization member as a part of your club, but if you don't think you could sell your property for what it's assessed as of January 1st of 2022, or next value will be as of 2023, call us, let us know. Like, I don't think I could sell for this, because if you can't, then we're wrong and we want to get that corrected. If you think you can't sell it for that much, and we do think you can, they have the Board of Equalization, and that is 3 volunteer taxpayers of Skagit County that volunteer their time to make sure that there is a non-biased group determining that these are fair and equitable values. Are there any questions? In the back. That is a very good question. Yes, the state of Washington tells us that we are required to be at 100% of fair market value. Growing up as a child, I knew what a bell curve was before most kids knew their multiplication tables because of my dad working in the office. If we were at 100% of market value, half of the assessed values in Skagit County would be above market value. There would be a real legal right to appeal for 40,000 property owners. We can't do that. So the number we aim for is right around 92 to 94% of the market value. In some areas of Skagit County, upriver, we don't have as many sales. We don't have as accurate of data. We might be a little bit closer to 90% of our median ratio there, just because we don't want to push a whole bunch of homes over fair market value. In the highlands of Mount Vernon, when every home is exactly the same and we can push it to 95 or 96 and know we're not going to get a bunch of appeals, we might do that. So, but it's a very good question. We aim for 92 to 93%. That's also as of January 1st. So the values on our website are as of 2022. A lot of people think assessed values are much lower than market value, and most of that is time. Because right now, the assessed value, that was 14 months ago. Well, a year ago, 14 months meant 20% difference. These last 14 months, I don't know, but it's not that. I like to remind everyone that we are historians of property values, not projectors. As soon as this sales window closes as of the end of May, actually, no, sales window just ended because the sales window goes through April 30th. We will start analyzing these sales. We'll look at the historical data, compare them to assessed values, and the change of value notice you get in October will be the value as of January 1st of this year. Very good question.
Same for commercial property?
Yes, Washington State, that is one of the very good things. It is the same rates and same at market value for commercial properties. I'll get to that question. One other increase to property tax bills has been, especially during COVID, but even prior to that, values of residential has gone up faster than the values of commercial. The best example of that is in 2000, the 2 refineries over on March's Point were assessed at $1.4 million combined. That was 23 years ago. 2 years ago, one of them just sold for 350 million. So those assessed values have gone down 50% in the last 23 years, while a house in Anacortes has gone up 3 times. And so there has been some shifting of taxes from commercial to residential. And that really picked up when residential values have skyrocketed and the retail or office space has really deteriorated with value. I'm going to go to the purple shirt and then I'll get you, John.
There was a supplement that was submitted with that, the tax statement comes out, it shows 2022, 2022, there were line items for the year. 2023, there was one line item. If you look at that, you see there's an increase and tax going to show. I realized that there was that supplement. I didn't know who it was, but I'm going to do it, and I can certainly understand it. I thought, all right, got it all Carol created it, but I thought your report explaining the Woolley portion pretty well written. Nobody could remember that supplement. Nobody could remember the article got all Carol. When it comes time to vote on the levy or bond issue, what can the county do to explain to the common taxpayer so that they're not at a disadvantage the next time that levy or bond issue is a discredit to the school?
You're absolutely right, and was not the most fun thing for me to come into my first month on the job. It showed, so yeah, it was a computer glitch. Department of Revenue told the treasurer's office that they had to change how something was linked. We didn't understand how that meant to show on the tax statement. When our vendor that sends out those tax statements explained what the issue was, it wasn't explained very well to us. That supplement that was added, I didn't make any sense to me either, and I'm the assessor, so you're not alone. And the decision was made to not send out new tax statements because it costs $40,000 of more tax dollars. And so it's something the treasurer was on the phone that morning, Monday morning, with all the superintendents of the school districts, because it was really bad. Anacortes, I think, was even one of the worst, but yeah, Sedro Woolley as well. And what I will say is, please, if anyone still has issues with that, have them call me. I am open, and we have reprinted past tax statements so people can see that, hey, you actually did pay quite a bit more last year. And our website is great. If anyone goes to our website, they can see what they paid last year. And so that's what we try and do, is send them to the website, or if they want a previous year's tax statement printed out, we are willing to do that too. John.
Is the personal property tax added in all?
Yep, personal property is also added into this. Washington State has a personal property kind of exemption for residential, but commercial pays on personal property. So I think it makes up about 3.5% of our tax base is personal property versus real property. Yeah, good question. Carl? That on the website doesn't update until we close the rolls. So when we close the rolls, usually around October, and then that's when the change of value notice goes out, and that's when the website will update. But that's a really good question. We are doing the Conway-LaConner School District this year. We do one school district every year. We split the county into 6 different cycles. Next year will be Anacortes, and the following year will be back to Sedro Woolley. So we have a data point that is above ground living area. It would not count for that, but we also track living area. So if it's a finished basement, we will track that. If it's got some finish, we'll track that. If it's unfinished, we'll track that. We use a cost approach. So we try and each one of those levels of finish has a different value per square foot, ranging from maybe 150 for finished basement, all the way down to 35 for unfinished, depending on quality. But sometimes when it comes to appeals, people will want to make sure that they're being assessed compared to like structures and not their two-story house being compared to a Rambler. So we do differentiate. Awesome. Thank you very much for having me.
I know the district will be running a levy in a couple of years, so hopefully, Brett, you can get Mr. Hagen and some representatives to go around with you when you're making presentations. That may be helpful. Yep. And Mr. Hagen, we do have a parting gift for you to sign. This is from the greatest Rotary Club in the universe, Sedro Woolley Rotary. And this is for you to sign all those assessors assessing assessments at the bottom of the page. So you can use that pen. So one more round of applause for Danny. Thank you, Danny. And with that said, I'll close the meeting today of the greatest Rotary Club in the universe and we will see you next week.